Here goes attempt number 2. Alright, please subscribe to my channel, comment, like, and notification bell, people. Today, I'll be reading the 5 Kingdoms, 2nd chapter. Go check out my 1st chapter on my channel. It's called 5 Kingdoms. It's the 5th book, Time Jumpers. It's pretty cool. I've read all the way through it, but I'm reading it again for you. So, let's get started. Alright, Chapter 2, Owendel. As the journey wore on, Cole had few options to improve his comfort. He rotated between lying on his stomach, his right side, his left side, and his back. He could not endure resting on his back for long because with his wrists bound behind him, the position placed too much pressure on his arms. He tried sitting or kneeling from time to time, but that never felt very comfortable. Cole tried to picture his home. He had visited a realistic dream version of his room shortly before meeting the she who stands at the summit in the Echolands. Some of those details still felt pretty fresh, but riding his bike down the street, eating breakfast at the kitchen table, a typical day at school, these memories seemed like remote visions of another life. A life far from prison wagons and spiritual realms and advanced robots and magical powers, far from exiled princesses and life or death combat. Would he ever make it home? Would he ever see his parents again, his sister? Would he go to bed without wondering if enemies would capture him in his sleep or kill him? Maybe. If he could survive this current predicament, there had to be a chance. If Owendel simply wanted him dead, that would have happened while his spirit was in the Echolands. If Cole survived this, then he could work on the next problem, and then the next one. And if he survived a lot, maybe he keep on surviving. One day at a time, one crisis at a time, but maybe at some point he wouldn't survive. Would that be so bad? He had seen there was life after death. He knew something about where he would end up, and he heard the call of the other, the realm beyond the Echolands. The call had been inviting. Someday he would answer that call. Hopefully not today or tomorrow or any time soon. He had too much to do. How long had their unanimated bodies traveled in the wagon before he, Honor, and Tessa returned to the Echolands? How many times had the teams been changed? The road seemed smoother, the hoofbeats crisper. The wagon barely rattled. The roads must be paved or something similar. Are we nearing the capital? Cole asked. We're in Junction, Honor replied. I felt my powers go active half an hour ago. Mine faded a little as we left Necronum, Tessa said. Mine feel the same, Cole said. He tried to will the cords on his wrist to dissolve. Nothing happened. He could sense his power, but he couldn't push it into the physical objects around him. Doing so, it felt so perfectly natural in the Echolands. Before long, the wagon slowed and rounded a corner. The pace remained slow, and turning became frequent, until the wagon descended a short, steep incline, leveled out and stopped. Chains clinked at the rear of the wagon, then the doors opened. On your feet, the gruff voice ordered. Staying limp, Cole held still. He heard no sound from the princesses. Come off it, the voice said. I heard you gabbing off and on for the past 20 miles. On your feet, unless you want to be dragged. Cole heard the princesses stirring, so he stood up as well. It took some extra effort without using his hands. He wondered how much the man had heard. They hadn't spoken loudly. The wagon was enclosed, and the horses made noise. Hopefully the driver had just caught an occasional murmur of conversation. What if the driver had heard everything? Had they expressed anything compromising? Cole heard someone approach, an iron collar clamped around his neck, fitting over the hood and drawing the cloth tighter against his face. Cole tried to keep his breathing calm. Air seemed to pass through the material well enough. Near his feet, a key clicked inside a lock, and a manacle unfastened from one ankle. Then the other was removed. At least that was a relief. Cole was suddenly tugged forward by the collar. It guided him forward, sideways, and then to a stop, suggesting that the collar was connected to the pole rather than the rope. Cole felt helplessly angry. Did they have to treat him like an animal? Were they afraid he would bite? Drop to the ground, a hard voice commanded. Probing ahead with his foot, Cole felt nothing but empty air. He must have been at the back of the wagon, and they wanted him to jump down. His inability to see made the prospect uncomfortable. The opportunity to choose was taken from him as he was yanked forward by the collar, hands bound behind his back, unable to gauge the arrival of the ground. Cole fell for an alarming moment, and then stumbled upon impact. The collar pressed up against the underside of his jaw, stretching his neck and keeping him on his feet. Cole didn't hear anyone ordering the princesses to jump, so he assumed they were helped down more gently. Did they have collars too? Until now, Cole had been so distracted by what his captors were doing to him to heed any clues about Honor and Tessa. The unrelenting collar pulled him forward. Others walked nearby. Cole stamped his feet. The level ground and acoustics of his footfalls made him suspect he was in a room rather than outside. He halted as murmured words were exchanged. A door opened. "Honor," Cole said. "Silence," a harsh voice commanded. Whoever held the pole attached to his collar gave it a jolting shake. "We're here," Honor answered, not far behind him. "No more words or I start really hurting the boy," the harsh voice threatened. For a moment, Cole forgot the plan to go quietly. He could feel his power inside, using his anger and frustration to sharpen his focus. He tried to push his power into the collar around his neck. In the Echolands, when engaging his power, he could feel the target object without touching it. Here, though, he could feel the weight of the collar around his neck. He could not touch it with his power. He was tugged forward again. Cole walked in a brooding silence. He passed through another door and another, then was brought to a stop. "Wait here," the harsh voice demanded. "Don't move." Whoever held the pole connected to his collar set it down. Footsteps retreated. A door closed. Cole waited. He could see nothing. "Honor?" Tessa asked Cole. "Yes," Cole said. "Here," Honor said. "Anyone else?" Tessa tried. There came no reply. "Where are we?" "Underground," Honor replied. The bowels of some building, maybe Harkle's castle." "Where?" "Headquarters of the Enforcers," Honor replied. "Don't assume that we're alone just because nobody answered." "Indeed," a confident voice replied. The unexpected male voice startled Cole. "Owendell." "Good memory," Owendell said. "Guards, remove the hoods." Fingers tugged the bottom of Cole's hood out from the iron collar and removed the coarse covering. He blinked beneath the glare of multiple lanterns. The windowless room was made of mortared stone. Honor and Tessa stood off to one side. They wore no collars, and their hands were free. Owendell paced before them, hands behind his back, wearing a brown robe, shoulders stooped. His hairless head and fleshy features looked much as Cole remembered them from the ceremony at the founding stone beneath the first castle. "You guards are dismissed," Owendell said. "Please stay alert." Looking over his shoulder, Cole saw 4 guards dressed as enforcers exit the room. The far end of the pole attached to his collar rested on the floor as if to prop him up. "Does our father know we're here?" Honor asked once the door had closed. Owendell shrugged. "Difficult to be sure. Stafford has many spies. I had not informed him, if that is what you mean. The High King is a scant shadow of a leader he once was. I withhold much from him for the good of the kingdom." "What do you want with us?" Honor said. Owendell stopped, pacing and smiling. "This is how it works." "Oh, no." Owendell stopped pacing and smiled. "Is this how it works? Are you conducting an interrogation?" "You abducted us," Honor said evenly. "I want to know why." How authoritative of you, Owendell said. How absolutely royal. Do you grasp that you are my prisoner? Do you understand that your monarchy is at an end? I understand you work for my father, Honor said. Owendell scrunched one eye and looked upward. In theory, perhaps. According to certain documents, I owe him my allegiance. Ceremonial vows were made. In practice, it has been some time since anyone of consequence took Stafford Pemberton seriously. This castle, this city, and these 5 kingdoms all belong to him, Honor said. Officially, yes, for the moment, Owendell said, pacing again. I despise empty words. Listen, you 2 princesses currently have political value, but not for much longer. All conventional metrics will soon be outdated. The deck will be reshuffled. Serving boys and milkmaids might outrank kings and queens. All that will matter, before long, is where you stand with Nazim. You mean Romero, Cole said. Very few know that name in connection with Nazim. Owendell said quietly, none who dares utter it. Romero? Cole replied, happy to bother him. Owendell gave a brittle smile. I'm aware you interacted with my master shortly before he departed the Echolands. It is part of the reason I wish to consult with you 3. That and the novelty of your shaping powers. Your power looks different, Cole. Much more serviceable than when we last met. I take it the Echolands agreed with you? I learned a few things, Cole said vaguely. The smile changed to a baring of teeth. Hearken to my words, boy. The order of the world is changing. Many will suffer, many will perish, an elect few will rise. Above most others I have encountered, your power could be of interest to Nazim. It was, Cole said. Romero tried to recruit me. Owendell drew near to him. You resisted? Good guess, Cole said. You're an alien in a dangerous land, Owendell said. Do you comprehend that his generosity is your only hope? I'm gonna stop him, Cole said. You should probably help us. Owendell chuckled. Do you realize who you're talking to? Do you get who you serve? Cole challenged. You'll be a slave, Owendell grinned. Even if that were true, Nazim's slaves will possess more power than kings. He can effectuate shaping potential that exceeds our greediest fantasies. And he'll use it to control everyone, Cole said. You'll be at his mercy, and he is not merciful. Surrendering to Romero is not winning. Young, Owendell spat, naive, foolhardy. He turned to the princesses. There is no sense in resisting the inevitable, no sense in demanding certain destruction. Your shaping power could interest my master as well. Do you want us to join you? Honor asked bitterly. To trust you? You took our powers. You destroyed our family. We met Romero, Tessa said. We won't be joining you. Owendell smiled. I feel you are trying to engage your power, Honor. Not in my presence, my dear. I could shut down 10 of you, especially here in Junction. Doesn't come as easy as in Eluir, does it? Eyes intent, sweat beading on her brow, Honor grunted in reply. Owendell shifted his attention to Tessa. I can even block your squirmy ability. No cryptic babblings will issue forth in my presence. And his gaze moved on to Cole and showed a flicker of concern. And you are most unusual. Let us go, Cole said. If you won't help us, just let us go. Wouldn't it be better if we stopped Romero? Even if it's a long shot? Owendell shook his head. My master is no longer in the Echolands. He already returned. Then where is he? Cole asked. Owendell narrowed his eyes. Something interfered. Perhaps some ancient failsafe built into his prison. Maybe it was me, Cole said. Impossible, Owendell whispered. Then he must have arrived without any problem, Cole said. Where is he? Owendell brought his face right up to Cole's. What happened? Where is Nazim? I sent him home, to the magical land of the Triviers, Cole said. Real anger flared in Wendell's eyes. I know that isn't so. It would take an unimaginable amount of power for that. For a Trivier to escape this realm. Start speaking the truth. Where is Nazim? Don't explain, Honor cautioned. I know, Cole said. Wendell inched closer, furious eyes unblinking, warm breath unpleasant until his nose almost touched Cole's. You will tell me, boy, or I will leave your power twice as mangled as it was before. The threat rattled Cole. He had barely healed his power in the Echo Lands, and the ordeal had stretched him to his limits. With all the troubles ahead, the last thing he wanted was to lose his power again, but he couldn't lead Wendell to his master. Cole knew some details of the imprisonment to the vault. The vault was called the Void, where Romero currently floated at the center of a vast empty space, reliving the same looping millisecond, unable to move, and drawn back to the center if he did. The Trivier had been deposited there to help from the consciousness of Daedalus imprinted on the founding stone. Cole knew the Void was in Creon, but he had no idea where exactly. And he knew that the prison, as strong as it was probably would probably not hold Romero very long. If Wendell found Romero, the escape would almost certainly become more speedily. Romero couldn't take me down, Cole said. Let's see what you've got. Wendell huffed incredulously. Nazim had his considerable powers focused on returning from the afterlife, a nearly impossible feat. You encountered him at a rare moment of vulnerability and proved an inconvenience. And I'll do it again, Cole said. You should help. Last morning, Wendell said. Explain what happened. I know Nazim crossed over. Tell me where he is. Never, Cole said. Wendell backed up a step, glancing at the princesses. You know what I'm about to do to him, Wendell threatened. Tell me what I want to know. We have no idea, Honor said. Cole doesn't either. He had help diverting Romero. I believe that, Wendell said, but the boy knows more than he's telling. Very well. Standing before Cole, Wendell seized his shoulders. Suddenly, Cole could sense Wendell's power rolling in dark, tainted but mighty. The corrupt power surged at Cole, sliding across the surface of the energy inside him. Gritting his teeth, Cole pushed Wendell's power away, and Wendell staggered, landing flat on his back, round eyes staring up in shock and dismay. Cole felt a flash of similar surprise at how naturally it had come to him, then smiled. It felt good to access his power and feel a reaction. He could still perceive Wendell's power and could no longer connect to it. Honor laughed. You're out of your depth, little man. Without a response, still looking startled, Wendell got to his feet, absently brushing off his robe. His gaze shifted between Honor and Cole. A knock came at the door. All is well, Wendell snapped. Give us time. The knock was repeated more insistently. Give us time, Wendell shouted. A key jiggled in the lock, and the door opened. An enforcer poked his head inside, begging your pardon. We are under attack, the guard said. Attack, Wendell said, bewildered. The Royal Guard, enforcer said. The Legionnaires, the Junction City Militia. Royalist enforcers. We're being overwhelmed. Commander Ratcliffe gave the evacuation order. Wendell stroked his chin. Stafford sent his forces against us. The old goat is finally making a move. After all this time, I honestly didn't believe he had it in him. A decisive move, the guard said. Quick, unexpected. They had help from the inside. The upper levels are already fallen. We can still get you out, but we have to go. Wendell started laughing. Is everything all right? The guard asked. I'm sorry, Wendell said, waving away the comment. The king has no idea what is coming. He's playing politics while the sky is falling. He is fretting about pests in his garden when the volcano next door is about to erupt. Cole edged over towards Honor. They needed to escape, and the contact with Wendell had given him an idea. Neither Wendell nor the guard seemed to notice his movement. "Be that as it may," the guard said, "the king is successfully taking Harkle's castle. We must away or surrender." "Commander Radcliffe had it right," Wendell said. "This castle is meaningless. Cole, you and your peculiar powers, pointless. Your princesses, irrelevant. Nazim is coming. All you unrelated currency will soon be worthless. And yet the castle is falling," the guard reminded everyone. "Leave the prisoners?" "No," Wendell said. "They won't get off that easily. And I will not hand Stafford the minor victory. Bring the prisoners." The guard fully opened the door, and 3 other enforcers tromped in. Cole closed the last of the distance between him and Honor, twisting so he could touch her hand with his hand tied behind his back. He immediately sensed her power, and steady and strong. More important, as if he had hoped, his power connected easily to hers. It felt natural and simple, like it had in the Echo Lands. He could also sense the power from Wendell shrouding the energy inside her, like a dark, filmy cocoon. Clenching his jaw, Cole used his power to feed energy into hers. Her energy blazed brilliantly, and Wendell's cocoon evaporated. With a roar, Honor expanded into a huge, shaggy bear, at least 3 or 4 feet taller than Cole. Lunging forward, she clamped her fierce jaws down on the shoulder of the nearest guard. She shook him brutally, making his limbs flop, then heaved him off to one side, where he slammed against the wall and dropped to the floor in a savage heap. The bulk of the bear made the room seem much smaller. Cole and Tessa fell back behind her. Though Cole was no longer touching Honor, the connection to her power remained, and he kept feeding her energy. The enforcer nearest Honor assumed a fighting stance. Thorn-like spikes sprouted from his armor, and then his sword elongated into a spear. The enforcers who Cole encountered usually had shaping powers. This guy was no exception. The other 2 guards ushered Wendell toward the door. "No," Wendell griped. "Not without the prisoners." "We have no time for a fight," the guard said, who had first poked his head in cried. "The king's men will be upon us shortly." The spiky guard lunged forward with his spear. Honor batted the spearhead aside and raked him with her claws. The guard went down, and Honor pounced, wounding her forelegs on his spikes as she tore his armor apart. The other 2 guards ushered Wendell out of the room. The door banged shut, and a lock immediately clicked. Roaring, Honor charged the door, blubber and muscles in motion beneath a golden-brown coat. She swatted the door, leaning her bulk against it. She snarled and slashed with her claws. The door held against her assault. Backing away a pace or 2, she faced the door and sat down. The 2 guards she mauled lay still. Wendell did not return. That's the end of chapter 3. Like I said in my first, at the beginning of the video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what books you want me to read next. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, check out my other videos. I only have 1 so far. I should have more later on, but go check them out. You should like them. Alright, thanks. Bye.